Well, you know, I really don't understand, and ladies and gentlemen, I think there's an important distinction to be made. I was sitting in the back of the room minding my own business. All right, I'd already read the emails about the attorney. I knew all of that.
Team hiring their own attorney.
Team hiring their own attorney, and you know, I was sitting back there minding my own business, just enjoying watching democracy. And Mr. Gray goes forward, and he's the one that brings it up. And he wanted to elude to you, the citizen, that we're going to discuss it today at our board meeting, and then we will decide. And I knew that wasn't true, and that's why I went up there. And you know, honestly, that morning at 10 a.m. he was supposed to go to work. He was getting paid at 10 a.m. And that came from looking at Team Santa Rosa emails. And that's the importance of public access to emails, ladies and gentlemen. If we hadn't have known that, Mr. Gray could have stepped forward and said, we're going to discuss having a lawyer at 11:30 today. And nobody would have been the wiser. We didn't know that we would not have known that he was already working for the county.
Right.
Or for Team Santa Rosa. And look, I know this attorney. I've already told him twice. It's not personal. It's here we go again. Procedures. My contention here is that at a public meeting, open discussion, vote of the board, hire an attorney.
Right.
Follow the procedures. Now, Mr. Gray said at the meeting at 11:30, well, you know, if the copy machine breaks, I can hire somebody to fix the copy machine. Well, that's right, and I'll agree, and I'll be the first to admit that technically I think you have the authority to pop an attorney in there. My point being is, do follow the law, do what's right. You don't need an attorney. You know, and honestly, there was another comment in that meeting that I found very troubling. Miss Cindy Anderson told the board members and the citizens that were there, along with 6 members of the media, the most media attention that Team Santa Rosa has ever received. She said that an employee of the state's attorney's office had advised her in March of this year that everything is fine. Everything looks marvelous.
Since they had started opening the meetings up.
Yeah.
And theoretically providing.
Everything is marvelous. Well, you know, I find it real interesting that if the state attorney's office, which is the go-to organization as far as legal criminal matters, if they tell you that in March everything is marvelous and you're doing what you're supposed to do, I'm troubled that we would even need to think about an attorney. You know, well,
yeah, if they can get advice from the state's legal advice from the state's attorney's office, that's for free.
Well, you know, if they, you know, I don't know what the state attorney's office thinks about that. I hope maybe after they watch our show, they have a robust conversation. I mean, you know, Deborah, maybe if I have a legal issue with my car, maybe I could call the state's attorney's office and they could give me legal advice also. To be perfectly, and ladies and gentlemen, please understand that was tongue-in-cheek. We know that the state attorney's office has more important things to do than give out free legal advice to Team Santa Rosa, but Cindy Anderson said it, and we felt like you should hear that. Our friends at the Pensacola News Journal, in a continuing effort to bring the news to the folks,
yes,
has
I hope it lasts.
Well, it seems to keep rolling.
It's a little oasis of confidence.
It seems to keep rolling, but they ran a story that you know, Teams, you know, has gonna hire a lawyer. His costs are going to be $200 per hour. They can't exceed $7,000, and you know, and once again, it is certainly nothing personal against this attorney. The sunshine laws are so very simple. Your meetings are open to the public. You have to give out public documents when people ask for it. 2 board members cannot have a private conversation unless it's at a notice meeting. How hard can it be? The only reason it's hard for some people is because they're always looking for a loophole and a way to get around that. That's where the hard comes in.
That's my concern.
Good people who are not trying to avoid sunshine issues never have a problem with this. So for goodness sakes, the IN Weekly the other day, a week or so ago, in an editorial said, I never had a problem with it when I was in an elected office. You know, it really does hurt things. But there's one you know, and I appreciate Jim Williamson. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Commissioner Jim Williamson is quoted in this. He said that Team's hiring of an attorney to explain open government laws may be overkill. And he goes on to say, as an elected official, one of the first things you do is to get all the paperwork on abiding by the Sunshine Law. It is very easy to understand, Williamson said. You don't have to have a lawyer. And Commissioner Williamson, I certainly agree with you. I didn't know anything about the Sunshine Law a few years ago. Honest to goodness, you can boil it down in about 3 or 4 sentences. But whoever is on a board has to have the will to follow those laws. That's the key there. But once again, Commissioner Williamson, we appreciate you standing up for the people, looking out for our money. Just can't say enough. Little conversations, blogging going on in Escambia County apparently, and I'm not going to get in any detail here. But some concerns have been raised about 2 city council members in Escambia County having a meeting that some folks are questioning, and also the proposed bingo parlor in Perdido. Some of the residents have asked for some emails, and apparently there's something very similar to what I went through for 6 years, and actually still going on today, and they've requested some emails. So when this gets a little more concrete, ladies and gentlemen, we'll let you know about that. But Deborah, it seems to me that beams of sunshine are popping up everywhere.
It's hard to believe.
They're just popping up everywhere. I am so happy. I'm glad to see everything that's happened in the last couple weeks. And ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have. It's been very satisfying to me after 6 years of hard labor. At least all of this stuff is going to get a decent look. And in this business with hiring an attorney, I see absolutely no reason for that. It's just more of your tax dollars being thrown out of a window. And I hope you agree with me. And by all means, call the Board of County Commissioners or call Ed Gray personally and tell him what you think about it, because I don't agree with it. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, the time flies. I'm Jerry Cooey.
I'm Deborah Nelson. Good night.
Good night.